the universe knows that I'm not fucking around. Like, when I decide and I put my mind to that I desire something and that I'm going to call something in, I call that thing in. And I'm willing to show up and do my part. I will listen for the divine guidance. I will take the inspired action. I will do my part. But I damn well expect the universe to do its part too. And I expect it to show up. And as long as I'm coming from a place of sincerity and clearness, and I'm requesting clarity, and I'm showing up and doing my part, then the universal law is that the universe actually has no option but to respond.
This is Leah Steele, aka The Wealth Witch, and this is my podcast. I'm here to activate you to remembrance of your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. This podcast is for people ready to have controversial conversations about the financial control, manipulation, and tyranny that faces humanity today. I'm gonna live in freedom, freedom. I'm gonna live my destiny. I'm gonna live my freedom, freedom. I'm gonna live, the time is right now. The Wealth Witch. It's for the people who are ready to wake up, deconstruct their wealth programming, and free themselves from the financial slavery consciousness that serves the global financial agenda. I'm committed to realizing a new global wealth paradigm where economic freedom is the reality and where you get to design and live the life of your dreams. Now let's do the damn thing.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Wealth Witch podcast. I am your host, Leah Steele, the Wealth Witch. How are you enjoying season 2 so far? I have been getting quite a lot of messages from you guys, and I actually love that. I love hearing from you. I love hearing which episodes are resonating with you. I love hearing the aha moments that you're having. So please keep sharing. And obviously, if you love the podcast, leave us a review. Let us know which parts you like. But if you want to reach out to us directly and share a story or share anything with us or give us a suggestion of something that you would love to hear me riff on, you can send an email to media@theleahsteele.com. We will put it in the show notes as well, but it's media@theleahsteele.com. I'd love to hear from you. So I'm currently laid up in bed. My back has gone out. And it seemed like perfect timing to do a podcast on signs, synchronicities, and bitch slaps from the universe. That's really what I want to title this podcast, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that. So we might have to get creative in the titling. But just so you know, this podcast is meant to be titled Signs, Synchronicities, and Bitch Slaps from the Universe. So something that you need to know about me is that I'm fully woo. Like, I'm all the way woo, but I have a very analytical, scientific mind as well. And so I'm always looking for the explanations. Like, I'm fine to go all in on the woo, but in the background, I'm constantly seeking and searching the science or the proof or the reason why the woo happens. And so, I think that actually has a lot to do with my human design profile, which is a 5-1. I'm a 5-1 projector. And so that investigative line in me, in my unconscious, which is very conscious now because I'm over 40, is really like that investigative part of me. I just want to know all the things. And this is my relationship with God and the divine. And so God, source, universe, all that is, you know the drill. Don't get hung up on the name. Insert whatever feels good to you. But this is a lot like my relationship with God, where I have to have big signs. So the little nudges, the little synchronicities, often they don't catch my eye. They don't work that well for me. And so when I first started my spiritual reawakening and I started my spiritual journey, one of the things that I asked from God was to give me signs where it was impossible for me not to notice, and to give me signs where it was impossible for me to doubt. And I would literally journal about that every single day. Like, I would journal asking God to send me signs and to make them clear, and to make them so clear that there was no way that I could mistake it as anything else. And that's something that has just really always stuck with me. But that first 2 years of my spiritual reawakening, I journaled about that damn near every day. And so for better or for worse, the universe now always gives me major, major signs. I've gotten better at recognizing the smaller synchronicities and the smaller signs, but there is something in me that wants to have the massive confirmation. And so I guess the first thing that I would say to you is that massive confirmation, it's possible. If you desire it, it's possible. And I've talked about this, I know, before on the podcast, but it's this idea of, the universe is like a restaurant, and you don't go into a restaurant and sit down at the Italian restaurant, for example, and say, I don't want spaghetti. Can you imagine the waiter if you sat down and you were like, he came to take your order and you were like, I don't want spaghetti. No, you're like, I want the spaghetti and meatballs with extra sauce and a little chopped chili on the side. And I'd like garlic bread and I want a really nice Chianti, right? Whatever it is that you're going to order. But you're specific. And if you're like me, you're super specific and you order stuff that's not on the menu, which drives my husband crazy. But just like the restaurant, the universe can't give you what you want if you're not specific. And you can literally place your order. And this is the thing that I really want people to know, is that you don't have to accept those small nudges and small synchronicities. If you want big signs from the universe and you want to be absolutely 100% certain that it's a sign, ask for that. Demand that. And that's the other thing, I think that people are afraid to demand what they desire from the universe. They're like, oh, I need to be humble, or, I'm awestruck by the universe. It's so much bigger than me. You are the universe. You are the universe, and the universe is you. So it is absolutely okay to make demands of the universe. And for me, things really started shifting when I got serious about demanding the things that I desired from the universe. And I got super clear about what it was that I was demanding. And I asked to be shown things in a way that someone who was an idiot couldn't miss it. And so that's my relationship with the universe now, and the universe knows that I'm not fucking around. Like, when I decide and I put my mind to that I desire something and that I'm going to call something in, I call that thing in. And I'm willing to show up and do my part. I will listen for the divine guidance. I will take the inspired action. I will do my part. But I damn well expect the universe to do its part too. And I expect it to show up. And as long as I'm coming from a place of sincerity and clearness, and I'm requesting clarity, and I'm showing up and doing my part, then the universal law is that the universe actually has no option but to respond. So that's kind of the first part of that. Unfortunately, I also need signs that are massive and disruptive to get me back in alignment or back on track when I've fallen off. And I don't know why this is. I'm stubborn. I think I'm super, super strong-willed. I get hyper-focused on a destination and a goal, and I don't always quickly feel myself coming out of alignment. And, it's not that I don't think the universe gives me the smaller nudges and signs. It's just that I tend to get tunnel vision, and so I don't always see them. And so what ends up happening is then the universe will give me a shove. And because I'm strong-willed and because I get hyper-focused on my destination, sometimes I don't listen to the shove either. And then what happens? I have to get hit by the fucking Mack truck. Like, the Mack truck has to come along and run me over for me to be like, oh, I got the message. So I'm laying here in bed with my back out because I have been working too much. I've been in the middle of my Ouroboros launch. I haven't been resting enough. Haven't been taking care of my physical body the way that I am meant to be taking care of my physical body. And I think the bigger thing is that this year, 2021, I made a commitment to myself the highest version of myself, God, source, universe, all that is, I made a commitment that this year I was going to work on my relationships and my health. Because the last 4 years I've been focusing on business and expanding the Leah Steele brand. So this year was about relationship and health. And I did a really good job of working on my relationships. And I'm still like the second half of the year. First half of the year was kind of like my relationship with my husband, which is amazing now. Lots of hard work, lots of work put in, and it's been absolutely epic and amazing. I'm so, so thankful. So the second half of the year is really like cultivating closer connections with my kids. And I sort of half-assed, not even half-assed, like I've probably been doing a little more than half-assing, 65% maybe, focusing on my health. And I have made some good progress. However, I'm not giving it 100%, and I haven't been giving it 100%. And I've been using the excuse of, oh, look, but I did this. Oh, look, but I've been doing this. Oh, look, I made this progress as the reason why I wasn't going all in. And so the last couple of months, I've gotten back into this like work mode, which is so easy for me to get into. Like, I love what I do so much. I'm so driven by my mission on this planet, by my purpose, that I literally would work 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, and just sleep for like 4 hours. Like, I can get so focused on work and get tunnel vision. Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, when do you sleep? When do you rest? And I'm like, living a purpose-led life, it's not that restful. And that's okay, but I still need to take care of the other parts of my life. So the middle of last week probably started feeling, I could feel my water element coming out of balance. And I knew that my kidneys were super, super depleted. And I even reached out to my business partner and bestie, Michelle Patrick. And I was like, oh, my kidneys are fucked. Like, I have got to start cultivating and nourishing and healing, cultivating my water element, and then nourishing and healing my kidneys, because I'm going to be in trouble if I don't. And I was like, okay, these are the things that I need to do. And then I didn't do them, and I just kept working. And then Sunday or Saturday, I can't remember which day now, but Sunday or Saturday, I went to get a mani-pedi with my husband. And as we were going to get on the motorbike afterwards, I felt that little catch. Those of you that have had your back go out, this. There's like this little catch. It feels weak, and then it feels like you have this little catch. And I was like, no, because my back has gone out 4 times in the last year. This was the 4th time, actually. So 3 previous times. And I was like, no, I cannot do this. I don't have time for this. I'm too busy. I've got work last week of the launch. And I just freaked out, right? And then I came home and I had a 2-hour massage scheduled. And so I was like, oh, this will be perfect. Like, I can see my masseuse, and then they can like loosen up my back, and it'll be great. And so I lay on the table and I get the massage, and she like is massaging, and it feels like everything calms down. And I'm like, yes, it's gone, and I just enjoy my massage. And I step off the massage table and my back completely goes out. So I had to have Sean come down to the massage room, get me, help me walk up the stairs into bed. And I was just like devastated. Because typically when this happens, I'm out for at least 3 days, 3 to 4 days, where I literally can't get out of bed. And then it's another like 2 to 3 weeks of getting back into the swing of things and like being able to sit up all day and being able to do the things that I love doing. Not to mention the fact that I had just gotten back into my workout routine, and now that's been sidelined. And so I was laying in bed and I was just like, this is fucked. And I was so mad. But then, the spiritual part of me goes, what's the message? And I even got so frustrated. I like messaged one of my friends that works for me, who's on my team. And I was just like, why does there always have to be a fucking message? Like, can't I just be a normal person who gets injured and just be like, this sucks for one day? But I couldn't. So I was laying in bed and I'm like, okay, well, here I am, God, laid up again. You wanted me to focus on my health, and now my back's out. So I'm not going to be able to work out. I'm not going to be able to do all the things that I needed to do. And I'm like, what's the fucking message? And I'm like, I was probably saying it out loud at this point, honestly, because I think I'd taken some painkillers. But the message came through so clearly. And it was, no more half-assing your health. You have to focus on it 100%. And nothing else gets done until you've taken care of your health. So that means you get up in the morning, you focus on your nutrition. You do all the things you need to do for yourself in your nutrition in the morning. You go out into the world, either, the garden or the beach, which is just on the other side of my garden, and you get grounded, you feel into earth, like you connect your body to the elements, and then you do some kind of movement. So whether that's Tai Chi or that's yoga, if you choose. I hate yoga, by the way, but the message is coming through so clearly that I need to start doing Kundalini yoga. So it's Tai Chi or it's yoga or it's just stretching or it's a walk, whatever it is. It's like, that's the first thing you do, and you don't work and you don't answer messages and you don't do the things. Like, as soon as you're feeling up to getting out of bed again, this is what you do. And I was like, okay, the message is clear. And and then I just laughed because I'm like, I have to literally be flattened out, taken completely out in order to get the message. But it was so clear. And now I know, right? And so now I know the second part of my year is going to be 100% focused on my health. It's the number one priority. Everything else comes second to it. And I'm good when I have direction like that from the universe. So that's the other thing is, and that's why I ask for certainty, and I ask for clarity, and I ask for directness. Like, I don't want to be confused by the messages that the universe gives to me. And as a result of that, the universe gives me clear directives. Because I don't want to be confused. And I've said I don't want to be confused. And I want it to be crystal fucking clear so that I can't make any mistake in the interpretation of the message. So that was super, super clear. And I was like, okay, cool. I've got that. And then I decided that I wasn't energetically available for having this situation with the back be what it's been in the past. And so I decided to really tap into the new earth ley lines, the new earth template, the new earth operating system, and tap into some activations that I've been doing recently around activating crystalline DNA and then the merging of that crystalline DNA with our physical DNA. And I haven't recorded this yet. I'm probably going to do it in the next week. But I will have them come back and drop the link to this in the show notes of this podcast, because I am going to record this meditation that I recorded for the Ouroboros experience, where I did this activation of this crystalline DNA. For now, I'm going to have them put a link to the Ouroboros experience in the show notes. Go join that. It's 6 hours of epic free content. So you definitely want to check that out. And it's 2 parts, 3 hours and then 3 hours. In the first 3 hours, I did this New Earth Wealth Code activation. And part of it was activating the crystalline DNA and pulling it into the physical body, into the physical vessel, and combining it with the physical DNA, and then activating ourselves at a cellular level to break apart and release our slavery coding, and then activate the new earth wealth codes. And so I took this same process as I was laying in bed that night, and I brought that crystalline DNA and I merged it again with my physical DNA, and I expanded my cells with light. And I really just focused in that area of my back, and I saw the muscles relaxing, and I saw that light activation and that light DNA coming in and healing all of that area and reducing the inflammation around the nerve. And I fell asleep while I was doing this activation on myself. And about 2 hours later, I woke up and needed to go to the bathroom. I've been doing all this lymphatic drainage, so I've had to pee like 6 times a night. So I woke up and had to pee, and I stood up. And I was like, whoa, because typically it's 3 days of like being crunched over, can't straighten my back, taking me so long to get to the bathroom because I have to like hobble. And I stood up and I walked to the bathroom, and I still had like the pinching and the nervy feeling, but I wasn't in excruciating pain. And by the next day, I was able to walk down the stairs, which is like unheard of. And so one of the things that became so apparent to me is that we are living in a new timeline. We are operating, many of us in a new operating system. And first and foremost, it's a choice to come into this new timeline. It's a choice to come into this new operating system. But things get to shift much more rapidly. And we're tapped into just this higher vibration and frequency of the new earth timeline. And it means transformation can happen rapidly. We don't have to wait. Like things that were taking weeks and months before can happen in hours and days now. And so I'm, on day, I think 4 of this now. Yeah, day 4 of this. And I've been mobile. I've been able to sit up at my desk for a few hours a day. I'm still resting. I'm still, taking care of my body and allowing it to relax and allowing it to rest. But I was able to heal myself with that activation so much more quickly. And I also think a big part of it was straight away, I asked, what was the message? And so I've really been given this beautiful gift as of late to be able to track and trace energy through the body. And it's energy as it relates to conditioning and programming from the matrix and from the program. And so, as I'm looking at this and as I was looking at my own body, as I was doing this self-healing, I was like, okay, where are my old attachments to when I'm sick? It has to look like this. When my back goes out, it has to look like this. And I was able to track and trace that energy through my system and then release those hooks. And this is such a beautiful thing because this is the work that I do in my wealth repatterning programs, is going in and finding those hooks in our multidimensional bodies, right? Because we're multidimensional beings. So going in and finding those hooks and unhooking those hooks, that's actually what creates freedom for us. When we can unhook all of that programming and conditioning and then clean and clear the body in the organs and meridian systems of the stuck and stagnant emotional pathology, then we actually get to operate from this beautiful place of neutrality. And then we have freedom in our life because we're not making choices from programmed and conditioned belief that's turned into a primary question that's then put us on autopilot, regardless of what we want to do. Like we're just operating in this like fear state or in this, programming of lack or scarcity. So yeah, I think that, I guess I share this story, one, to say that I still have to get the Mack truck of signs from the universe. And I'm not perfect and I'm still learning and I don't get it right all the time. What I have gotten really, really good at is recognizing when I've fucked up and bringing myself quickly back into alignment after I realize it. So, we're all human. And if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're listening because at some level you resonate with the human in me. And yeah, we're all from the cosmos. We all, are backed by our star nations and, we're stardust and we're here and we're meant to just shine so brilliantly and so beautifully. But at the end of the day, we're having a 3D human experience and there's so much beauty in that. And so the magic is often in our mess. The growth opportunities and the expansion, often comes from us running into the brick wall and then realizing that we don't have to keep running into the brick wall, that we get to actually find a way around it. So, I know for a lot of us who are spiritual people, it's like we want to ascend. We want to get out of living in this like 3D reality. And I just want to remind everyone that this 3D reality is such a gift and it's so beautiful. And so while, yes, we should be striving for expansion and growth and, doing everything we can to reach and achieve our infinite potential. And I absolutely believe that we should be trying to simultaneously achieve infinite human and divine potential at the same time. And we should embrace our star nations and we should embrace the multidimensional cosmic beings that we are. I also believe that we have to embrace our humanity and realize and recognize that we do make mistakes and that some of us are really stubborn and we need to get hit by the Mack truck. And I also think it's important that that like the universe never gives up on you. The universe is always there and it always has your back and it's always conspiring in your favor. And I know that that's this kind of like fucking hokey secret law of attraction thing to say, but I will tell you something. It has been proven to me time and time and time again. And even if you can't see it in the moment, and even if it feels like you are in the depths of despair and your whole entire world and life is falling apart, believe me, the most beautiful gifts and blessings are on the other side of that. And the universe is always conspiring in your favor. Do you know why? Because you are the universe. That's it. That's all I have for today. So until next time, this is the Wealth Witch signing off. Remember, it is your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. And you are so worthy and you are so deserving. So go out there and get specific and demand what you desire from the universe. Love you guys.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to connect with me on social media and reach out. I love hearing from you. And if you want more of me, real, raw, and uncensored, make sure to join the Wealth Witch Telegram channel. It's my free channel where I share all of my random daily musings as well as the information that I feel like is important and pertinent to my community. We've put a link to the Telegram channel in the show notes, so make sure to come join us over there if that intrigues you. Remember, wealth is a mindset, and you are the most powerful creator in your reality. Until next time, this is the Wealth Witch signing off.